From the twisted realm of science and the darkest pits of reason comes chilling tales of godlessness. Bear witness to the unfathomable terror that is the Good Atheist.
Turns out that Ryan is on vacation for the next 2 weeks. He went over to Tennessee to hang out with his parents. So it's going to be all guest podcasts for the next little while. For the next 4 at least.
Exactly.
And if I don't have enough guests, I guess I'll have to do one of them alone. Like one of those creepy ones that I did.
The creepy ones with the music from Air in the background.
I like that one.
It was alright. It was alright.
Once in a while, I figure, let's make this personal. Or
sure.
let's make this... Let's share something.
Let's share.
Talking about sharing, Jeff came over and he brought me a present, an early Christmas gift, because today was the Canadian launch date for Richard Dawkins' new book, The Greatest Show on Earth. That's the name of the book, right?
That's the name of the book.
All right. I had only seen actually the cover once, but I seem to recall. What is on the cover? Is it like
I think it's the pepper moth.
Oh, you think he deals with that whole pepper moth controversy in it?
I assume it's either the pepper moth or just butterflies, but it's a butterfly of sorts, and of course, it's an evolution book, and butterfly patterns for preservation. It applies. It fits.
Okay, so you know a little bit about what the book is about. Can you give a general synopsis for everybody that doesn't know about this book? Can you do that for us?
I will do my best.
Do it. Do it.
So basically what this... And I have to say, I haven't read any of it much yet. I just got it, and we're recording the podcast here. I still want to look through it. It still smells new, and I'm like, damn it, I want to play with
And
the
it's got pictures.
It's got glossy,
color pictures,
high quality, some nice photos in it, too. But
yeah, get the hardcover.
Yeah.
I guess they only still sell the hardcover.
Yeah,
right?
paperback's not going to be out for a year. In any event... so yeah, it's not so much dealing with anti-God stuff. He stresses that first 3 pages kind of things. I'm not going to talk too much about God bashing. It's more going to be about science, evolution, and the proof for evolution instead of just not assuming. But in his other books, he's saying that he dealt with evolution on this but with the premise that it existed, but it was kind of a given. This is going to be the book that explains arguments for evolution, how it works, proof that it works, things like that.
So if you want to be a superstar on evolution,
exactly,
then you need to get this book.
This one deals with the more nuts and bolts of evolution.
And here's an interesting thing. You mentioned that you're sometimes a bit of a slow reader.
Well, it's because I buy too many books, and then I just can't figure out which one to read.
Too many books.
Yeah, I do that. I buy in waves. I'll buy I think I haven't bought a book in 6 months, and then in the last 2 weeks I bought 4. So.
Yeah, that is a bit ambitious. But any of you hardcore fans remember that Jeff had promised to read this book, and we're going to review it together. So
yeah.
I can't tell you when that's going to happen, but I do have a kind of a date set in my mind, and this transitions me over to our first talking point. And the date that I have in mind is November 22nd, 2009. And the reason I have that date in mind is not only that it's 1 month exactly away, but it's also the date that Kirk Cameron and
That's
friends...
2 months away.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 months. Sorry, 2 months. It's
2 months less a day.
2 months less a day.
You're wrong. You lie.
You lie. Okay, so fine. It's 2 months, not 1 month. But that's when they release the... they're going to distribute 50,000 copies. This is Way of the Master. This is Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron, and I'm sure most of you listeners are probably
known
aware.
as that fucktard from, what was it, Family Ties?
I don't even fucking remember.
Growing
what the
Pains?
hell the name?
Which one was it?
Growing Pains? Maybe?
I don't know.
I know it's just that song that starts show me that smile.
Oh, yeah. I think Jennifer Warnes was the woman singing on that.
Who?
Jennifer Warnes.
Nobody fucking knows who that is, pal.
Okay, this has nothing to do with atheism.
I know, but why don't you just explain to everybody? Because you pulled a name out of the head and
okay,
who?
Jennifer Warnes did. She did that song for, was it Dirty Dancing? The I've Had a Time of My Life. Was that Dirty Dancing?
I believe so.
She was the woman that sang on that. She also did a lot of duets with Leonard Cohen. And she did an album of Leonard Cohen covers
and
called
she won a
Famous
Grammy,
Blue
right? For
Raincoat.
that?
She won a Grammy for it, and he had never won one.
Well, that's because he's a terrible singer.
He really is. But anyway, so that's who Jennifer Warnes is.
Well, that's good.
Back to you.
So they basically they want to release this book, and they've included a 50-page intro at the beginning, basically saying,
"Isn't it more of a disclaimer? This book is false."
Well, I don't even know if that's what they say in it because I haven't I read most of it
Before you gagged on your own spit.
Well, they posted it up, you know, like they
Yeah.
posted up free online for you to read what the hell they were saying, and it's basically the same old bullshit. Okay, Darwin was just they paint him as if he was some kind of, I don't know,
God-hater?
disgruntled God hater who wanted to just destroy all religion and then just like he was a racist and there's undeniable connections between Darwinism and Nazism, and you're just like, what the hell, man?
Isn't there documented proof of letters Darwin wrote to other scientists and other biologists trying to find, like, he was doing his research. He wasn't trying to disprove anything. He was just trying to get answers. So he would I think his daughter actually has like a journal of letters that he wrote to, like, by mail to other scientists, like, what do you think of this theory? Does this make sense? He was not just inventing stuff.
Well, look, I think it was the truth is that for Darwin, it was really actually quite difficult to deal with the ramifications and the conclusions that he reached because of evolution. I mean, Darwin started off a believer, all right? He went and he studied to be a clergyman because back in those days, if you were part of the church, then that's where all the science was happening, you know? Everybody was a creationist before Darwin because why would you think that there was anything different? Life was so complex that, you know, it seemed the only answer. You just, well, God made it all. I don't know how else he could have done it. And then to uncover sort of you know, such an elegant theory that works and that doesn't require this, you know, crane, this sky hook, basically, as Daniel Dennett would describe. It's just some assembler from, you know, the realm
beyond.
of magic,
the world, the ethereal plane.
Darwin really only actually lost, I think, his faith when he started seeing not only you know, the truth of his theory, but also some of the very disturbing things that he found in nature, you know, parasites that just he seemed to have no other purpose than to cause suffering and that kind of stuff. And he's like, why would a just God do this? And then obviously there's the, you know, death of his favorite child, Emma, and that pretty much kind of sealed that deal after then. Like, he didn't want to go to church and that kind of stuff. But actually, interestingly enough, there's a movie about that very same thing. It's called Creation, and it's called it's got Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly, real life couple.
Jennifer Connelly?
Jennifer Connelly.
I love Jennifer Connelly.
Well, you know what? It's funny because in the movie and all the reviews that I read, she just seems to play kind of like the annoying religious wife that just keeps on just bringing home the point, being like, "Oh, we're not going to be together in heaven." Blah blah blah.
So is this like like one of those Christian propaganda movies?
No. This is the opposite. This is the opposite of a propaganda movie. And in fact, from what I hear, it's I guess it's kind of divided because they say the science is terrible, but they don't focus on the science.
It's more
of it.
about the interpersonal
things, and they deal with his loss of faith actually almost entirely in the movie, which is why there is still no U.S. distributor for the movie, despite the fact that all other countries have picked it up.
Wow.
So we might be able to see it in Canada, probably will be.
AMC.
But I doubt very much that Americans will be able to see it for a little while. Too controversial.
It has knowledge.
Don't you just
differing
love
opinion.
that? Don't you love that? where there'll be plenty of U.S. distributors that'll pick up Time Changers, but they don't want to pick up a movie like Creation.
Yeah.
Speaking of Time Changers, now I know last time we talked about it on one of the shows,
God.
but I finally got to show Jeff.
Yeah.
There were two reasons why I wanted you to see it. The first reason was obviously because the movie is just so damn ridiculous that I think it needs to be seen. But number two, I wanted to pick up your analysis on whether or not my gaydar was right or wrong.
I knew that's why I see you.
That's why you're here, man.
Okay.
Queer eye.
Queer eye for the creationist guy. What? What? Okay. Anyways, yeah. No, I didn't get a gay vibe from him. Sorry, dude. Your gaydar's off.
My gaydar's off?
Your gaydar's off. He's just a bad actor.
Oh man, your fucking gaydar sucks though. We know
well,
that from
okay,
experience.
I'll be honest. Here's how my gaydar works. If I find a guy hot, I assume he's gay. That's how it works.
You just didn't like his beard and his
I
terrible
didn't like his
acting.
beard and his terrible acting and his clear blatant lack of intellect.
Now, while we're still on the subject of Kirk Cameron and
speaking
and
of
the
queer bait,
yeah, seriously, jeez. But I wanted to go back and talk about Ray Comfort. I put up a little video where he's on, I think it's 100 Huntley Street.
Oh,
or
that
something
one.
like that.
Oh yeah, the angry old man.
Yeah, that angry old man. Was it Pat Robertson? I think.
I don't remember. They all kind of the same.
Just the stupidest old man you've ever seen. Just really like
He needs a
he
rocking
doesn't
chair
know
and a
anything.
shotgun.
He doesn't know anything. But the funny thing is, I love listening to Ray Comfort trying to have some kind of debate, trying to disprove evolution. And the video that I put up is probably the most hilarious out of all the ones that I've seen, because he obviously has the usual was it a male or a female first of the species? This is one of his main arguments. He presents a kind of a chicken and the egg scenario of saying, well, if there was if a species evolved, they would have another female version had to evolve at the same time in order for them to breed. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to.
Right.
What do you think about that idea? Let me just tell, as a person who says, well, I have a good idea of evolution, but I'm no expert, I want you to kind of what's the bullshit detector here on that one?
Well, my bullshit detector is, one, the assumption that just one individual thing might have came out. And I'll admit, I don't. This is why I have the book.
I want to learn. Obviously, it smells fishy, right? You're
does.
You're telling yourself that doesn't make any sense.
It smacks of very simplistic, well, obviously it doesn't work. It didn't have there was no boy and girl salamander thing.
Well, here's what I think is funny. Basically, speciation, as what we understand as a species, is a human construct. Okay, because we are still all descended from the same, ancestors. All of us, every single life form, all originates from sort of, the
primordial soup,
pretty much. But the hilarious thing is, we tend to think of a species as these are individual things, and we have most of our classifications for speciation is inability to produce fertile offspring with another species, but it's not as clear cut as that. And there are obvious. Sometimes you can have one species that can have, sort of offspring, and then they can be fertile. It's not yet. We still don't know whether or not we could actually breed with other apes and produce offspring. We don't know that because no one's really tried it that hard.
Yeah.
I don't really want anyone to try it.
Man.
I just don't actually know. I mean, what would you do with such a creature? I mean, it's pretty fucked up. All right, it's like the island of Dr. Moreau a little bit.
Could you use that for stem cell research? Would they mind that?
I don't know. I can just only imagine some kind of hairless ape popping out going, what have we done? Now, I hate that whole don't play God thing, but don't mix human DNA with other species and trying to make weird hybrids. Don't
impregnate chimpanzees with human DNA.
I would really rather we didn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, we clearly have some unintelligent humans. We don't need even dumber ones.
I'll tell you another reason, too, because if we could produce fertile offspring, everybody would go nuts. I mean, what are you supposed to do now with apes if we can't have fertile offspring with them? Do we treat them as
humans? Do they have souls?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
They do eat their own pee and poo. So
that's where the soul comes out of.
So no, they don't.
The sphincter's the soul hole.
But I want to go back to his whole accusation, saying, well, they can't. If you mutate too much, you can't breed with another of your same species because it's a new species or whatever. Obviously, look, Ray doesn't understand evolution, and that's fairly obvious, which is what is so tragic about these kinds of idiots trying to disprove evolution despite not knowing anything about it. Now, if you want to see a truly embarrassing example of this, Ray Comfort had a debate with a guy called Thunderfoot.
Oh, yeah.
The guy with that weird accent.
Yeah. Did I link that to you, or did you just see it?
No, I saw it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I regularly subscribe to Thunderfoot's videos because I find them, informative, and he's obviously very fucking smart.
Yeah. He looks like a total gamer geek, though. Holy crap! That guy plays Warcraft.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I don't know. I'm not going to make these kinds of.
Well, it's not a pejorative. He just. Come on, glasses, long hair, ponytail.
Sure, he looks like a nerd.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I like nerds.
Well, fuck, man. Nerds, let me tell you something. Out there, you guys listening, you're probably all nerds. We are the future people. We're the information generation. Now, let me ask you this question. How valuable is information?
Very valuable.
I would actually say that information is probably, at this point in time, in human history, the most valuable
I would say so.
thing. Because, I mean, look, you could say, oh, well, food's valuable. Sure. I mean, you can grow food. You can't just grow information.
You can't grow knowledge.
You can't. I mean, it takes.
There's no tree of knowledge out there that you can eat fruit from.
Yeah.
God.
But my
It was
point is
right
that
there.
look, think about it. We are the information generation. Fuck the space age, man. This is the information age, and we're controlling that shit. And meanwhile, the dumbasses, all they do is control poor or pathetically bad information. Ray Comfort is one of those people that does not understand what the point of information is. He has access to to all that education. He's refused to read it, obviously.
Yeah.
And he still, I think he still believes deep down that he is a smart guy, that he could really hold his own against any person. I mean, that's why he keeps challenging Richard Dawkins to a debate.
He challenges Richard Dawkins. God,
he offered Richard Dawkins $20,000. Richard Dawkins said no.
He would bury him. Like,
Well, that's
Richard
the whole
Dawkins would bury
he
fucking
would.
Ray Comfort. Holy crap!
He would bury him pretty fucking bad.
I would like to see that.
I think he should do it. You know what? Like, I know that Richard Dawkins has this attitude of saying, "Oh, I don't want to give these guys any credence or any."
Yeah.
But Richard, man, bury this asshole. Just fucking bury
Crush
him.
him.
He doesn't know anything. Ray Comfort knows less than nothing.
Ray Comfort versus Christopher Hitchens.
Oh, that would be
Christopher Hitchens
beautiful.
Would fucking kill that guy.
I would. You know what? We should start a fund. You know, so that we can pay Christopher Hitchens to just bury this guy, because I'm literally sick and tired. Him and Kirk Cameron, I'm fucking sick and tired of their ass.
Yeah.
I mean, they even go on shows like Dateline and that kind of shit, and they don't even seem to do any
O'Reilly
research. I'm like, if you are going to even lie and spew your bullshit, can you at least almost sound like you know what you're talking about?
Seriously.
The croco duck, the banana. These fucking idiots don't know anything. A croco duck. Speaking of croco duck, there's this awesome photo in that book, The Greatest Show on Earth, where a fan made a croco duck tie.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
Yeah, I want a crocodile tie.
I want whoever did that to fucking sell it, and I'm gonna buy
on
one.
Cafe Press. I think the name
I have like
actually,
2 shirts.
I
but
think
I'll
the
buy
guy's on Cafe Press, not on Cafe Press. I think his name is mentioned in the book.
one. Okay, well if I find it, I'm gonna take a look at it. If I find it,
Josh Timonen.
Josh Timonen.
Timonen.
All right, so do a search for him and buy his motherfucking croco.
I don't know if he's selling them, but you can solicit him. Maybe he'll make one.
If he doesn't sell them, I'm like, dude, are you crazy? They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you sell them? I don't even care if you don't make any money. Just fucking sell them. I want one. Okay, let's move on, because I'm sick and tired of talking about Ray Comfort. I want to talk about another person that sucks.
Another irritating.
You know what it is? I feel like the show is like the irritating motherfucker show.
Well, whatever. This is the venting of rage.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that's... did I tell you? I think that's one of the main reasons why people love the show so much. It's because I get to vent. And I understand it, man. I understand it, because there's got to be lots of you out there that are just, you know, just sick and tired of religious people saying or doing stupid shit, and you can't vent. I mean, who are you going to vent to?
Yeah.
Your religious friends, your super religious parents, and you're just like, I don't have anyone to talk about this. Luckily, Jacob is a crusty motherfucker who keeps swearing.
He's an angry man. Yep. If you hadn't if you haven't actually seen his video when he does the PodCamp presentation thing, you should check it out though, because he cusses. Like,
I don't cuss that much.
You say shit and fuck like a lot.
No, I didn't say fuck a lot, but I did notice that I don't just say shit. I say shit. Like, I don't say shit normally. But
I just thought it was funny. I wasn't expecting. I'm like sitting in the audience and it was like, and all that shit. And I'm like, dude, you're presenting.
Well, you know what? Look, first of all, it's a PodCamp thing, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody walking in, I actually was going to start off by asking if people were offended by swearing, because I would have said, get the fuck out of here. If swearing offends you, please fucking leave. That's the best way to say it. Anyways.
Remove your ass.
Kindly remove your ass from this fucking area.
You just have to drop the F-bomb in it. You have to.
You have to.
You have to.
I don't think I said fuck that often.
I know at least of 2 instances.
Where I said shit?
No, fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't even hear myself say it anymore.
No, I don't pay. Well, if you're paying attention, like I don't pay attention to it normally. I just given the scenario. In any event,
in any event, you should just go check out the video so that at least you have something to make up for the fact that for a couple of days I was non-existent on the site.
It's true. He vanished.
I did vanish,
He vanished completely.
and I'm sure Jeff is really happy because I stopped talking about
PodCamp
and freemium and all this other kind of shit, and people were like, I'm sick and tired of hearing this. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, it's in my head.
I think the first thing I said when I saw him today was like, does that mean we don't have to talk about freemium ever again? It's like, now they can just check the video.
I can link to the video, and that's That is it.
So now we can get back to talking about
People that
idiots
irritate
and
us.
people that bug us. And you have a doozy.
Oh my goodness! This is another video I put up. This is for Carrie Prejean. If you don't remember her, a couple of months ago, I wrote an article. She was a contestant on Miss USA, I guess. And Perez Hilton, the infamous blogger, basically asked her what pretty much amounts to, I will admit, is kind of a
loaded question.
A loaded question. Yeah. What do you think about gay marriage? Now, I guess he knew something that we didn't, because she took a stance saying I think it's wrong and blah blah blah.
Right.
And on the site, I accused her of being a bigot, and some people just came back and saying, "Well, she's not a bigot. She just she doesn't believe in it, and that's fine." And I made a whole kind of argument of saying, like, look, bigotry is not as in your face as you think as it used to be in the old days, because now people are really they are aware of what bigotry is supposed to sound like, and nowadays it has a very masked, very subtle, and even
PC.
It is itself PC, which is fucking very strange. But it's all about doublespeak. It's always about doublespeak, because the ones that are bigots will sort of accuse other people of being intolerant of their own views and so on and so forth. And I'm like, bigotry and intolerance, first of all, I want people to understand, are not the same thing. Okay, they sound like they're the same thing, but you can be intolerant towards Nazism and not be a bigot. You can be intolerant towards people starving. You can be intolerant towards a lot of things that aren't necessarily bad.
Lactose.
That's the greatest example. You're not a milk bigot. You're just intolerant. And
that's my contribution to the podcast. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Catch you all next week, maybe. But here's the latest thing that Carrie was doing. She was giving a speech at one of those value voter conferences. And in the background, it's the regular rigmarole of fucking douchebags, fucking focus on the family and the American Institute for, I don't know, gays dying of like a fire. Who cares what the fuck this is? But it's always the same. These value voters are just people that really don't want to see their America change, and you would have probably noticed that the crowd was almost entirely white. What a surprise!
A WASP audience.
No! A bunch of very wealthy white people listening to a pretty white girl tell everyone how hard her life has been since she lost and's been really sort of lambasted by the media. And she's like, well, not everybody's as brave as me, but God chose me. Yeah. And he's got a crown waiting for me up in heaven. Yeah.
So what's she going to do? Like, prance around heaven with a crown? Is that it? Like,
look,
now I miss heaven!
She's fucking 22. So I think we all remember what we were like at 22. Young, dumb, fucking full of cum. Yeah, that's usually what 22. But, I mean, honestly, 22, and the thing that you want the most in heaven is a beauty pageant crown. Like, I just gotta, I gotta put this out there here. I mean, I don't know if I'm crazy saying this, but there is more to life than
winning
beauty pageants. Okay, there's way more to life than that. And if this young woman thinks that that's going to be kind of that's where she plateaus, that's going to be a sad fucking existence. But the conservative movement can't help but pass these people microphones and say, talking to this. And tell us how you feel and what you think, even though there's maybe like 10 brain cells that are fucking firing, and they're not even all firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, Sarah Palin.
Yeah, Sarah Palin is a perfect example. Although I'll tell you one thing, this is actually I saw this video which said, what does Sarah Palin have to offer in terms of advice for Carrie Prejean? I thought it was going to actually be, Sarah Palin saying something stupid as usual, but she actually said something that was pretty smart. I know
Sarah Palin was insightful.
Yeah, on only one point.
Wow.
Is it because basically
maybe there's something to this apocalypse thing after all.
Everyone is capable of having a smart moment. Even the stupidest person can have a smart moment.
That's true.
So don't underestimate the ability for even a Sarah Palin to have a smart moment. Her smart moment was basically where they kind of clipped two videos together. And the first one was Carrie saying, I have been chosen by God, and I know that's what he wants me to do. And actually... And this is probably something that Sarah Palin will regret saying in the future, but she says, never assume that you know what God wants. And I was actually saying, like, yeah, that's a pretty fucking good statement. That is not too bad. Yeah. Congratulations, Sarah Palin.
That's your one.
You got that one. That's it. That's probably all you got, but you got that one. Just the notion, though, that this girl really feels as though God gave her a calling
To win a beauty pageant.
To lose a beauty pageant through controversy, to make people aware that this is a problem or something, that she gets chastised for essentially denying the same rights that she enjoys to other people. Because it really, that's, you know, at the end of the day, forget about what these people are doing. All right? I don't even care what the fuck they do in the bedroom. I don't give a shit. Maybe some of them don't even have sex. Look, I've seen some old gay dudes marrying, and I'm pretty sure they find sex as gross as fucking we would when you're old. I mean,
it's a horrible age to get to.
you have that fear of what you're going to look like as a 60 or 70-year-old man.
Oh, man.
Are you even going to want to have sex with a 70-year-old man?
I'm hoping by then I'll be really rich and get a trophy boyfriend who's in his 30s. I'll be like, I'll be your sugar daddy.
Right, but I mean, I'm sure that you'd just be worried about what he would think of
Well,
looking at your
honesty,
old man balls that are touching the ground.
Yeah, no, that's true. In all honesty, I try not to think about. I'm terrified turning 30. Could you imagine me at 70?
What? Aren't you turning 30 in like 5 or 6?
I'm turning. Yes, I'm almost.
We're almost the same age. He's older than me by 2 weeks.
By like 2 weeks.
Old man.
And he never lets me. Those are going to be the longest 2 weeks of my life. He's going to be like, old man.
Yeah, you better stay offline.
Yeah, I'm
going to
fucking stay offline.
Oh my god, I'm going to tease you mercilessly about being 30. Although I don't know if that's a good idea, considering the fact that Ryan is actually almost a year younger than me, so he can.
That's true.
He can tease me for a whole year when it comes out.
There you go.
I'm going to feel like a dirty old man too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're getting back in the dating scene.
I am. Oh my goodness, I am not looking forward to the dating scene because I mean, I must have dropped a couple leagues. I am a broke ass blogger podcaster. I really don't know how attractive that's going to be towards the opposite sex.
Ryan was saying that there are hot atheist viewers and fans, so
they're all over the place, man. I'm not willing to travel all the way to fucking.
If you're listening right now,
UK, fucking Alberta or whatever.
If you're a hot Montreal atheist chick who wants Jacob,
who pays me money,
who pays him
to
money
listen to me talk,
to listen to him talk. Leave a comment on this podcast. I'll hook you guys up.
There you
somehow.
go.
I'll work some magic.
You are going to hook them
I
up.
will somehow play matchmaker.
I'll tell you what, though.
If
you pay for the podcast, I don't want to date you. Because that would be considered prostitution.
You know,
you were paying me.
You know, that's actually really funny because I had that friend who bought me the fridge, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when, like, okay, not to dare too much.
Well, why don't you can tell people a little bit about the story? Come on now.
Okay.
Jeff had bought basically my old.
I bought his old fridge. The fridge crapped out. I didn't have.
Hey, come on, easy now. It was 2 years after I'd sold it to you. Now
It's
you
still
make me sound like I'm some kind of douchebag selling you.
It's still
bad equipment.
crapped out. Anyways, okay, no, it didn't. It's not something I'm taking him to Judge Judy for. I think that's the second time she wormed her way into a podcast.
Judge Judy? I don't know, maybe.
Anyways, so I have this friend. We dated for a bit, but anyway, so we still hook up from time to time. And it felt last time he came over, you know, we fooled around, and then he bought me the fridge, like, and I was paying it back. So it was like I gave him $40 after we had sex. I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, this is fridge money. This is fridge money.
That's why you got to put it in an envelope and it says fridge
money.
Fridge
fund. There you go.
Yeah, you know what I think is very hilarious about prostitution in general. It is illegal for you to give money to someone to have sex with them, but you can totally pay two people to have sex in front of a camera. That's no problem. Very interesting.
That's true.
Are you? I don't know the legality of it, but I wonder if you're allowed to pay people to have sex and you just watch it as well, or do you have to videotape it for it to not be considered prostitution? Is the basic question.
I don't know how that works. I think there's probably a lot of, like, in the porn industry, I think there's probably a lot of paperwork and red tape and stuff that you actually have to go through to be legit. And I'm not talking about like Xtube here. I'm talking like, you know.
You're not talking about the amateur movies I'm making and uploading to Xtube.
That's you. I thought I remember.
Jeez, I guess I didn't cover my face enough. You know.
No.
I just covered it from the eyeballs up, and that was a bad idea.
No, you look like a really poor superhero. The brown bagger.
Oh, that's just disturbing. That's disturbing. Okay, you know what? Let's cut the show short. I want to go and actually read this book, to the greatest show on earth, just to see how good it is. Mm-hmm. And we're going to catch everybody on Friday. I don't know if Jeff's going to be there. I might get my buddy Tom, or maybe I'll do a show alone. I don't know. I'm going to try to fulfill my promise, though, of 2 shows a week.
Well, I can help you on Saturday for sure.
Okay, well, you know what? If everybody doesn't mind sort of waiting an extra day, we'll get Jeff back in here, and we're going to do another show. And
I have a full-time job. Bleh.
You full-time job? Jeez, trying to
I
make
know.
money, eh? Why don't you get off that bandwagon and come join me in Portland?
Man, if I could get some BS, I would love it.
Some BS.
BS is Quebec welfare. Sorry,
You have to mention that.
I have to mention that because people are not sure what I'm talking about. It's bien-aide social, which is like social money,
social welfare. Of,
that's
you.
exactly. There you go. Yeah,
the one-day millionaires that we
Yeah.
have all around here. You can be one of those.
You
too.
can buy a whole carton of cigarettes on the 1st of every month.
All right.
See, that's intolerant and not bigoted.
Oh, and one more thing. I think that most of you already realize. I mentioned that I wasn't going to hard sell the show anymore on the regular podcast, but I do still want to thank all of you guys that are patrons. We do appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out ways to make sure that people who can't necessarily afford it have ways to kind of pay for it in a kind of different manner. And I think you guys have seen some of that. Some of the surveys. I'm still going to try to offer some stuff for people who are interested in bonus podcasts. I'm probably going to do another internal survey in a couple days. So people who are listening to it now, you're probably just recently listening to it. You submitted your survey, and I'm like, thank you in advance. I guess.
Why not?
I still haven't figured out what my survey is going to be about.
Didn't you already have a survey?
Well, I had a survey about the podcast. I'm probably going to ask a survey about the actual website now because I want people to know, to let me know what they think about the writing and that kind of stuff. Because it's not, writing is not my specialty.
He's a good speaker.
I'm a better speaker than I am a writer. Oh, well. Yeah. What can you do? All right, with that, we're going to catch everybody Saturday, hopefully, for another episode. With that, my name is Jacob Forte.
And I'm special guest Jeffrey Jones. I like saying special
guest. You do, yeah.
I did like Fabulous Gaytheist, though.
There already is a Gaytheist, though.
But Fabulous Gaytheist.
Right,
it's like Ghostbusters versus the real Ghostbusters.
Okay, fine. You're the Fabulous Gaytheist. All right, have a good day, Atheist Day, everyone.